AMD stock price at one point this year was over $210. Unfortunately, now this AI expected prodigy has dropped to $140. Now, why has AMD stock price dropped so much? Today, we will look at recent interviews, earnings call, and important conferences to try to answer that question. Let's start with this recent CNBC interview with the semiconductor analyst.
I get why Intel is down 40% this year, and I get why NVIDIA is up 140. But AMD's down 5% on the year. Yeah. And again, from an analyst perspective, explain this to me, because they are supposed to be a clear number two. They have lagged significantly at a time when the markets even were more ebullient, I would say, on semis. Break that down real quick.
So this interview starts with some great points. Unfortunately, Intel investors are continuing to experience no growth in investments, as Intel has become the stock that many say has high risk, but potentially high reward. The risk being Intel is spending tons of money on semiconductor manufacturing, something that won't really show results until a few years from now. Its CPU business for servers and consumers continues to become heavily competitive, and its AI chip, the Gaudi platform, continues to lack any true revenue growth. On the other hand, you have NVIDIA that has exploded on revenue thanks to its supply chain ability to provide high volume of AI chips with the H100, H200, and the upcoming Blackwell platform. NVIDIA is what many AMD investors are striving to achieve: high revenue growth, high margins, and continued outpaced demand over supply. Now AMD is mentioned as the clear number two in the AI market. Let's try to understand why that is from Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, as she explains the MI300.
We launched MI300 last December, and it's quickly become the fastest ramping product in AMD history. Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle have all adopted MI300. Every major server OEM is offering MI300 platforms. We've made so much progress in the last year on our ROCm software stack, working very closely with the open source community at every layer of the stack, while adding new features and functionality that make it incredibly easy for customers to deploy AMD Instinct in their software environment. Now, with all of these latest ROCm updates, MI300X delivers significantly better inferencing performance compared to the competition on some of the industry's most demanding and popular models. That is, we are 1.3 times more performance on Meta's latest Llama 3 70B model compared to H100, and we're 1.2 times more performance on Mistral's 7B model. Now, the customer response to MI300 has been overwhelmingly positive, and it's just so clear that the demand for AI is just accelerating so much going forward. We're really just at the beginning of a decade-long megacycle for AI. And to address this incredible demand, I have a very exciting roadmap to show you. We launched MI300X last year with leadership inference performance, memory size, and compute capabilities. And we have now expanded our roadmap so it's on an annual cadence. That means a new product family every year. Later this year, we plan to launch MI325X with faster and more memory, followed by our MI350 series in 2025 that will use our new CDNA 4 architecture. And then in 2026, we'll deliver another brand new architecture with CDNA Next in the MI400 series.
So now that we understand more about the MI300, let's see the explanation of the semiconductor analyst and why AMD stock continues to lag.
Yeah, you bet. So I think in general, all of the AI stocks recently have had a little bit of pressure, just because expectations have been very high and the numbers have gotten very large, and people are starting to think through what is all this money actually going to get spent on, right? And what's the return? And so all of the stocks recently, I think, have sold off. AMD has been a little bit interesting, though. They have, they are the number two, to some of the to NVIDIA and some of the other players in the space in data center GPUs. Expectations have gone up a lot. The company's been sort of raising their AI guidance through the year, but I mean, consensus expectations are already quite a bit above that. And so I think there's a concern that while we probably will get a raise to that outlook, it likely will not be enough to be high to cause expectations to go up.
So the analyst mentions that the MI300 might not meet analyst expectations, while some of the more bullish analysts are expecting north of $6 billion in MI300 sales. This is what AMD mentioned during its latest earnings.
Turning to our broader data center portfolio, we delivered our second straight quarter of record data center GPU revenue as MI300 became the fastest ramping product in AMD history. passing $1 billion in total sales in less than 2 quarters. In cloud, MI300X production deployments expanded at Microsoft, Meta, and Oracle to power generative AI training and inferencing. MI300X GPUs are delivering leadership inferencing performance and substantial TCO advantages compared to H100. For instance, several of our partners are seeing significant increases in tokens per second when running their flagship LLMs on MI300X compared to H100. MI300 demand continues to strengthen, and based on our expanding customer engagements, we now expect data center GPU revenue to exceed $4 billion in 2024, up from the $3.5 billion we guided in January. Longer term, we are increasingly working closer with our cloud and enterprise customers as we expand and accelerate our AI hardware and software roadmaps and grow our data center GPU footprint.
Many are expecting AMD to continue to raise guidance each quarter, and it is possible that once we start to get closer to those $6 billion in revenue, then the stock could have some positive reaction. Another thing that we will see from this analyst are some component issues that could be creating a negative sentiment for AMD stock. Let's take a quick listen.
Also, in the near term with AMD, there's been some worries about potential issues with their products. There's been concerns around their high bandwidth memory that they use with they buy from Samsung mostly. Concerns about is that having issue and is it causing order pushouts or cancellations? And so we'll find out, I guess, better next week when they report. But those have been some concerns in recent weeks that have been weighing on the stock and taking it down probably a little worse than maybe even some of the other AI stocks that are there.
Now the analyst mentioned some potential issues with an HBM supplier, Samsung. But we can see in this article from May 26 that Samsung says those claims are incorrect. But this will definitely be a topic of discussion for the upcoming earnings. While AMD is a big AI player, most of its revenue does not come from data center GPUs like NVIDIA, but more from CPUs for the consumer and server market. Before we close out this episode, I want to show what AMD's CFO said in June about its core market and future opportunities.
Yeah, traditional server market is still quite mixed. Last year, we all know traditional server market actually declined. And if you look at it this year, in the cloud environment, it's continue to see customers, some of them continue to optimize, right? Is in AI investment optimization is still going on. But we have, again, tremendous momentum with our Gen 4 server CPU platforms. Both Gen 1 and the Bergamo have been ramping quite significantly. Adoption and the market share again has been really impressive. If you look at the Q1, we actually got to 33% revenue market share. So when you look at the enterprise market, we actually started to see early signs of a refreshing cycle.
With AMD's earnings coming up, AMD's AI solutions will definitely be a hot topic for investors. But it is still important to understand how its core market is doing. Hope you all enjoyed the episode and feel free to let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on AMD stock. Enjoy and have a good day.